What is the worst career advice you've ever received? Because I'm about to tell you about the time that one of my best friends in the world nearly talked me out of the best decision that I ever made. And if I'd listened to him, let's just say I'd probably still be asking people if they want extra foam on their cappuccino. This would be back in 1995. And by this point, I was coming off of 5 years of unsuccessfully trying to break into the comic book industry. I was trying to remain hopeful, but I was beginning to wrestle with this growing suspicion that, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't cut out for the whole artist thing. Things simply were not working out for me in New Jersey. So when I found out that a few friends of mine were planning to drive across country to Los Angeles, I figured, you know what, it might be time to shake up the Etch-a-Sketch. Now, if you're familiar with the modern day urine-soaked dumpster fire that is Los Angeles, you may find this part hard to believe. You're just gonna have to trust me when I tell you that back then, it really was the land of dreams. There was this sense that anything could happen at any time. The woman you hired to clean your apartment today, she could sell a screenplay next month and be signing a 3-picture deal. It was an absolutely wild time, and there was this undeniable belief that if you just worked hard enough, with just a little bit of luck, you could make anything happen. Now, as fate would have it, about 3 months into my stay, I happened upon a little bit of that luck myself. I had discovered that there was this career called storyboarding, and I managed to get an interview with an agency called Storyboards, Inc. Now, at this point in time, I was making $7 an hour answering telephones for the Princeton Review, and I can remember thinking, all right, Vin, if they offer you a job, hold out for $10 an hour. Try not to accept anything less than $10 an hour. So I went in, I showed my portfolio, and I talked to the women there who were all just super nice and encouraging. Towards the end of the interview, after deciding they were going to take a chance on me, they casually informed me that the starting rate was $600 a day. And after the agency took their 25% commission, I would be left with $450 a day. $450 each day. I remember, I remained frozen in the moment with what had to be this ridiculous attempt at a passive acceptance on my face, while my entire internal world shattered into like 1,000 little rainbow shards and then slowly reassembled themselves. I eventually just blurted out some version of, I believe that'll work. And then I can remember I just gathered all my stuff and I quickly ran out of the room before anybody could realize like the mistake they made. Despite all the wonderful things I had previously said about Hollywood, up until this point, I was having a hard time of it. Each of my friends had found jobs quickly, and through those jobs, they found this small circle of friends that they began hanging out with. But me, I was struggling. Each month that we were there, I was late with the rent, and I never had $1 to my name. So the whole bus ride home, all I could think about was how I couldn't wait to tell my best friend Trav the good news. Now, Trav is an awesome guy. He's still one of my closest friends 30 years later. I love the guy. He's funny as hell, he's kind-hearted, he's just an all-around good friend. I've never met a person in my life who didn't love Trav after first meeting him. But when I caught up with him and I told him the good news, instead of getting excited, he just kind of had this defeated look on his face for a second, and then he became like a bit angry. Jesus Christ, Vinny, this shit has to stop. Grow the fuck up, man. You need to get a real job. No one's gonna pay you $450 to draw pictures all day. It's insane. Come on, man, you're smarter than that. It's obviously a scam. I was taken back because honestly, like, this was the first time Trav had ever gotten angry at me. I weakly sputtered out, but how is this a scam? They're not asking me for any money. And, it's not like they're asking me for, hey, give me a $200 registration fee, and then we'll find some work. They're just gonna take my samples and show them around town. To which Trav replied, dude, do you realize that every person that we've met since moving to LA has told us all that we need to ditch you? Every time they're having a get-together or a party and they invite us, they ask us not to bring you. And every time they do that, I have to stand up and fight for you. I have to stand up and say to them, oh, come on, no, honestly, he's a good guy, man, he really is. They just keep coming back to me with, dude, he's a fucking loser. I mean, I get that he's your friend, but you have to know he's a loser, right? He's not going anywhere. I'm telling you, that guy's gonna drag you down. I just sat there stunned. He continued, it's becoming harder and harder for me to defend you, especially when you come with this ridiculous fairy tale. Nobody makes $450 a day. You need to quit spending your time in Fantasyland and get your fucking shit together. This was 30 years ago. I'm telling you, I can remember this conversation like it was yesterday. Because again, Trav's just, he's a really good guy. And as I said earlier, he's still one of my good friends. And to hear all of this, particularly at a time where I was extremely vulnerable. Because I was making fucking minimum wage over here. I was 3,000 miles away from home. And though I knew I had talent, up until this point, I had no success with it whatsoever. And now here I was learning that all these people were calling me a loser behind my back. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. When all your friends, your family even, anybody that you love and respect, they're all telling you that you're wasting your life, that you need to grow the fuck up, when they're all telling you that you're a loser, it becomes harder and harder not to believe them. Now, let's all pause for a moment to indulge in that super awkward yet sadly necessary part of every YouTube video where I essentially beg you all to hit the like button. A call to action is what it's known in YouTube lingo. We all know what it really is. It's the real world equivalent of me approaching you while you're pumping gas, trying to convince you that my car ran out of fuel just a mile down the road. All it needs is a few dollars to get up and running. It's cringy, it's uncomfortable. Frankly, it diminishes all of us. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that 90% of you have already fast forwarded past this part of the video. To the 10% of you that remain, honestly, I'm a bit disappointed in you. Now Trav wasn't trying to be mean. He was trying to give me a dose of what he genuinely thought was tough love. Having grown up in a very blue-collar Hoboken, New Jersey, Trav simply couldn't see any value in visual storytelling. Why on earth would anybody pay his pal Vinny to draw stories all day? Here's what Trav didn't understand. Visual communication is literally older than the written language. Cave paintings predate the alphabet by tens of thousands of years. Humans have been telling stories with pictures since we figured out how to hold a stick of charcoal. Every movie you've ever loved, every commercial that made you laugh, every TV show that kept you up past your bedtime, they all started with drawings on a piece of paper. Storyboards are the blueprint that turn ideas into reality. They are the bridge between wouldn't it be cool if and action. When a director has $1 million commercial to shoot and only 12 hours to get it right, do you think they're just gonna wing it? Fuck no. They want every single shot planned out, every camera angle mapped, every moment choreographed. That's where we come in. We're not just drawing pretty pictures. We are solving problems. We're translating abstract concepts into concrete visual plans. We are the GPS of every film crew, the roadmap for every production. But now here's the bookend to that little stroll down memory lane. 30 years later, Trav and all the other friends I moved to LA with, as far as I can tell, they never went anywhere. To this day, they're stuck in jobs they hate, making just enough money to pay the bills with maybe a little left over for weekend bar trips. They hate every minute on their jobs, and they honestly believe, truly believe, that hating your job, that's just the way the world works, that it's the norm. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to die knowing I'd spent 1/3 of my life doing something that I hated, particularly when I had the skills and the abilities to do something amazing with my life. Drop this artist fantasy. Grow the fuck up. Get a real job. It's the single worst career advice I ever got, and the fact that I ignored it has made all the difference. My name is Vinny DeLay, and this is Ink and Grow Rich.